T was a rainy Tuesday when Mrs. Delka didn't show up for class. Room 204 was usually loud and chaotic, filled with high school seniors who cared more about TikTok than textbooks. But that morning, something felt ... off. A heaviness in the air. The rain wasn't just falling, it was slamming against the windows like it wanted in. At exactly 8:01 a.m., a woman walked in, tall, pale, dressed in old-fashioned clothes that didn't match the school dress code. Her shoes clacked sharply across the tile, echoing too long, as if the room was deeper than it looked. "Good morning, class," she said, her voice dry like paper. "Miss Lovelace, I'll be your substitute today." No one remembered seeing her come through the hallway. No one knew where she parked. She didn't carry a bag or a phone, just a thin leather notebook and a piece of chalk. Yes, chalk. Even though the school had whiteboards, she didn't take attendance. Instead, she began writing names on the board, not in order, not from the sheet on the desk. She just turned around and wrote, Daniel, Tara, Mason, Aaliyah. Each student looked up as their name appeared, because she hadn't asked. She hadn't looked. She just knew. Aaliyah raised her hand, uneasy. Miss. How did you miss?" Lovelace turned her head slightly, not blinking. "I've always known your names. You wrote them long before today." The room went silent. The lesson didn't involve textbooks. Miss Lovelace spoke about things that weren't in the curriculum. Ancient symbols, forgotten gods, ways to peel back the world like skin. Mason laughed, said this was some weird prank, and made a crude joke under his breath. She stopped speaking. She looked at him, just once. That was all it took. Blood started dripping from his nose, staggered out of his chair, hands shaking, eyes wide in confusion. I can't breathe." He ran out of the room. No one ever saw Mason again. When a student tried to check on him, the door wouldn't open, was locked. From the outside, Miss Lovelace smiled softly. "We'll continue." The clock ticked, but time felt broken. Students' watches stopped. Phones died. The rain never let up. It was 8:01 a.m. for what felt like hours. Miss Lovelace continued calling on students. Daniel answered a question she hadn't asked, immediately screamed in terror, clawing at his desk like something was pulling him down through it. He passed out, eyes rolled back. 2 down. Aaliyah whispered to Tara, "We need to get out." Tara nodded, pulled out her phone to record. As soon as the camera pointed at Miss Lovelace, the screen went black. Smoke poured from the speaker, and the phone melted onto the desk. Then the chalkboard changed. It no longer held names, it held dates. Death dates. Terrace was today. She bolted for the emergency exit. Miss Lovelace didn't move. She just watched. Terrace slammed against the push bar. It didn't budge. She turned, and Miss Lovelace was already behind her.
Nice.
Her eyes were wrong to many pupils, or not enough. Her voice was in Tara's ear, but her mouth didn't move. "You already chose this." The lights went out. When they came back, Tara was gone.
Ow.
Only 3 students remained. Daniel was unconscious. Leah stood up slowly. "Why us?" she asked, voice trembling. "What do you want?" Miss Lovelace closed her notebook. "I was a teacher once," she said, "but my class betrayed me. They laughed as I burned." She touched the chalkboard. It hissed like a stovetop. "You're just the latest replacements." The chalkboard lit up in flame. Letters carved themselves into the wall. Lesson complete. At exactly 9 a.m., the door opened. The real teacher, Mrs. Delka, stepped in, umbrella soaked, apologizing for her late arrival. Sorry, car wouldn't start in the storm." "Wait, where's everyone?" Only Daniel was there, passed out cold in his seat. The other desks were empty. No one ever found Tara, Aaliyah, or Mason. And Miss Lovelace? She wasn't listed in the substitute registry. No one had ever heard of her. Her name didn't exist in any district records. And yet, every so often, on a rainy Tuesday morning, room 204 locks itself from the inside. And if you listen closely, you can hear chalk writing on the board. But there's no one in the room.